Today on DC News Now.
Bitter cold Arctic air looks to stick around for the rest of the day, but we'll let you know when some snow might enter the mix once again.
Coming up, we'll tell you what drivers think of the roads on this frigid Wednesday, and we'll show you the roads across the Commonwealth.
Calls for accountability from DC residents as sewage filled their home.
It makes you want to leave this place that you've called home for years.
How the district is responding. And the best car insurance prices as we continue into the new year. We're stretching your dollar. Then recognizing unhealthy relationships, the goals you can start to set yourself up for success in today's Wellness Wednesday.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hey, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Arctic air brings another cold blast to the DMV, and meteorologist Damon Matson joins us with the latest check on the forecast. Damon, another DMV first warned today.
Yes, it certainly is out there, Mark. This cold air is nothing we want to mess with if we can help it. We've been feeling the bitter cold air, especially since early this morning. One of the coldest starts to a day we've had here in the DMV in just about 2 years. Go figure, right alongside when the last time we saw that snowfall. And look at these low temperatures. DC, the warmest of the bunch, 16. And that's not warm by any stretch of the imagination here, folks. Annapolis also sat 19, Lexington Park at 19 there, Annapolis 17. But when you look across northern Virginia, this is another level. Manassas fell down to 3 degrees. Luray, Virginia, 1 degree out there. So we were certainly feeling that cold air. And then when you factored in the wind into the equation, it felt even colder than that. Now our current temperatures have bumped up just a little bit in DC at 26, Hagerstown at 20. Northern Virginia has seen the most improvement, also in the 20s, up from those single digits early this morning. But again, folks, we are still seeing a little bit of wind in place out there, and that is keeping wind chill values down in the single digits in Frederick, Cumberland, Martinsburg, and it's feeling still like it's 19 degrees in DC at this current hour because of the wind. So we'll have sunny skies. It's going to be quiet. It's going to be dry, but it's still going to be bitter cold. We'll be lucky if we see temperatures escape the 20s throughout the rest of the day today here, folks. So, hey, just bundle up, be ready to battle against that cold until it exits into the day tomorrow. But then it looks like we're going to have another round of snow on Friday. We'll talk about the details with that incoming snow coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Well, transportation departments across the DMV have been warning roads could refreeze because of temperatures plummeting overnight. DC News Now's Tosin Fakile shows us how Virginia roads look and how drivers feel about traveling on them.
Across northern Virginia on this very, very cold Wednesday, whether you're driving in the car, on the highway, or residential neighborhoods in Virginia, the roads pretty much clear and good to go. You might come across a few like this one where you have icy roads. Virginia Department of Transportation says crews work overnight to treat roads affected by the refreeze. Crews across the DMV were out clearing roads, but also treating the road. In Virginia, VDOT's first priority on roads are the interstate highway and limited access roadways. Then the primary roads, those are routes numbered 1 to 599. With snow blanketing roads across the region, Maryland State Police said it responded to a little over 270 crashes on Tuesday. DC News Now spoke with drivers to get their thoughts on what the roads looked like on Wednesday.
From 95 is okay. But once I get to Dallas Airport, it's still okay, I think, people over here, they did pretty good in, clearing their, roadways.
In Northern Virginia, I'm Tosin Fakile. Back to you.
All right, Tosin, thank you. And the winter weather impacted trash collection throughout the DMV. Arlington and Montgomery counties will resume service today. Homeowners or renters should leave their containers out on the curb. Recycling collection in Montgomery County will also start today, and trash pickup in D.C. is running on a normal schedule. Well, you can stay on top of this Arctic blast by downloading our DC News Now weather app. Just scan the QR code on your screen and get the app on your device. And stretching your dollar as the price for car insurance could cost $2,000 every year, but finding the best rate does not have to be time-consuming, and it can save you a large amount of money. NerdWallet says the average monthly cost for car insurance, $165. That could be worth a family's grocery run or utility bill. What's taken into consideration for your rate? Well, it's not just your age, your driving record, where you drive regularly. It's also the habits of drivers near you. And Forbes is out with the best insurance companies this month and cost for full coverage. For good drivers, Nationwide considered the best overall. Erie is the best for collision repairs. And drivers with a speeding ticket, Travelers Insurance. USAA, very good for military members. And then auto owners, best for new cars. One update this afternoon on a massive sewer leak in southeast D.C. Police say people say that their homes were flooded with wastewater for over 17 hours. DC News Now's Candace Cole joins us with more on what officials are now saying.
Here on Southern Avenue, cleanup efforts have begun after homes in the area were flooded with raw sewage for nearly 2 days.
Water came in through the shower.
Officials with WSSC Water, a wastewater treatment facility that services Montgomery and Prince George's counties in Maryland, say a 10-inch sewer main break caused homes to flood with sewage here in D.C. A spokesperson from WSSC says crews worked overnight to make repairs and the flooding has now stopped. According to neighbors, about 15 homes were flooded. Keontae Silver says she and her family were watching football in the basement when water started to seep in Monday, ruining everything. She said it took over 12 hours for DC Water to respond, only to be told it wasn't their problem. She says WSSC showed up within a half an hour after being called, but says the damage would have been much less had DC Water been more responsive.
If they had come out when we called them, we wouldn't have this issue. I think that the length of time that it took them to respond and to find fault to WSSC was here with 15 to 30 minutes after they called. We probably could have got this rectified a lot sooner.
Now, WSSC says they're not sure what exactly caused that sewer main to break, but they are offering hotel stays to those residents who were affected while their homes are being restored. As for Keontae, she says the lack of response from the city has her considering moving out of D.C. altogether. Reporting in Southeast, Candace Cole, D.C. News Now.
All right, Candace, thank you. The Virginia Department of Emergency Services is preparing residents for some home protection tips, and they say the deep freezes like the one we're expecting overnight can be dangerous for your plumbing. Here's what they say that you can do to help avoid frozen pipes. Keep your thermostat over 55 degrees and open up the cabinet doors of the pipes hidden in the cupboards and under the sink so that heat can reach them. Insulate your pipes in unheated areas, and then make sure that you know where your emergency shutoff valve is located. Well, Montgomery County is offering some free tax help. That tax help is only eligible for some residents who meet certain income requirements. It's called the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, and it's for county residents with a household income of $64,000 or less. The free appointments are available starting next Monday, and that ends April 11th. And it includes tax credits that can add thousands of tax refunds for families. And these are the locations residents can visit for appointments: the Casey Community Center, the Test Community Action Center, and the Community Action Agency, and Workforce Montgomery. Well, last year, the program completed nearly 2,000 returns, connecting residents with more than $6.4 million in tax refunds and credits. Well, Caden Holland, a teenager known by the name of Baby K, is back in court today. He's charged with trying to kill another teen in Prince George's County last spring. DC News Now's Lex Juarez has the latest.
The case has been continued time and time again as Baby K's lawyer battles it out with the state's attorney on whether or not he should be considered a juvenile or an adult in the courtroom. Now, his full name is Caden Dominique Holland, and currently he faces charges including first and second degree attempted murder and is charged as an adult. He's also being held in an adult detention center. The state's attorney argued he needed to be held in the more strict environment and away from other teens. Holland is accused of attacking a peer on a Prince George's County school bus back in May of last year. And during that attack, prosecutors say Holland and 2 other young boys ran onto the bus, beat and tried to shoot the other boy multiple times. Now, police have video of the attack, which they say shows Holland's gun jam. His lawyer has been working to seal the courtroom because of his age, despite his adult charges since October. But the state's attorney has made it clear that she and her office are not going to be giving special treatment to anyone regardless of their age, and they're not going to take it easy on them. Holland is expected in court at 1:30 this afternoon. In the newsroom, I'm Lex Juarez, DC News Now.
Lex, thank you. At noon, a bipartisan push in the Virginia General Assembly would allow people serving long prison sentences to ask a judge to shorten their sentence or let them out of prison completely. Now, the bill would allow inmates to file a petition, and then judges would have to take into account a person's age, their behavior in prison, and several other factors would go into deciding if an inmate should receive a reduced sentence. Once that happens, a judge dismisses the inmate's petition, modify their sentence, or let them out of prison by offering probation. Now, Pauletra James' husband has 14 years left on his 38-year sentence. She says he deserves a second chance.
He has done immeasurably well. He's created programs. He is helping to mentor other youth that are incarcerated to help them be better people when they return to the community and to steer them away from the path that they are on that has landed them in prison.
It's important to note that victims would also be able to, and their families would also be able to be a part of the process. They'll be allowed to make their wishes known before a judge makes any decision on someone's sentence.